Thom Abraham. Weekdays from 10 till noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All lines are open. Feel free to jump in. 256-576-4977.
Who wants coffee? Anybody wants coffee?
Tom, can you get me off the hook? Roll type say.
The tire's tired.
He ain't good looking, but he sure ain't shy. He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. 'Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
He's going to let it fly. Football Friday in the doghouse. Football Friday means football music throughout the show. That means we will serenade you with this dandy from 1970, Monday Night Football. Which is fitting because the schedule came out. It's funny, you know, you get Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on Monday Night Football, and all of a sudden you get a little better schedule for Monday Night Football. Boy, that's odd. Yeah, we got plenty of football in the show today. With that NFL schedule released last night, we need to address that cheating Nick Saban. At least that's what Louisville coach Scott Satterfield implied when discussing the transfer of wide receiver Tyler Harrell. That organ is absolutely amazing. Oh, God, I love it. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW. That's 732-982-7469. Look at everybody's going nuts now, man. Got the guitar going and the organ, the horns. You can watch the show on Twitch and Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. Our YouTube channel, 97.7 ESPN. The Zone. There you go. There you go. Soon to be changed, by the way, to a different. I think we're changing it to WZZN TV. I don't know. Maybe we did that or not. Somebody made a suggestion to do that in the staff meeting. We had that suggestion in our staff meeting yesterday, and I don't know if it's happening or not. But, yeah, soon to be WZZN TV because we're available on all of these different platforms. So, you know, you'll be able to find WZZN TV, you know, wherever it is that you get your streaming video, Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and I think even maybe Twitter, or at least a link to it from Twitter. I don't know. Like and subscribe to the YouTube page. That makes sense. Do that. You'll get notifications and stuff. The Facebook page has all kinds of interesting stuff, show clips, information on our play-by-play schedule. Just go to 977ESPN.com. Get links to all of that stuff. While you're at it, get the app. You need to have that app. That app is very useful. That app goes everywhere.
You can take it near, you can take it far, you can take it in your car, you can take it to a bar.
Take that friggin' app everywhere with you, man. Do what thousands have done. Put the app in your pocket. Then you got Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4 as well, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Tonight, the Tide are at Auburn for a key 3-game set. We've got that on the air while the Braves and Padres are over on Zone 2. Now, coming up in a few minutes, Alan Bell from CBS Sportsline is in with plenty of football talk to get to. The NFL schedule is out. 3 networks carried that deal. 3 networks carried the release for 3 hours of programming. I have no idea what the ratings were yet. We'll check it out. 3 networks for 3 hours carrying that thing. No, we've got some talk about the schedule. We're getting a number of other things. The Rams, by the way, the week 1 lines are out. They came out 5 minutes after the schedule came out. The Rams are a 1-point favorite at home over the Bills on Thursday night to open the season. The Saints are a 3.5-point favorite at the Falcons. Falcons are a home dog. Falcons may be a home dog in all their games. The Buccaneers are a 2.5-point favorite at the Dallas Cowboys. That's a little surprising to me. Titans are a 6.5-point favorite at home against the Giants. And the Cleveland Browns are a 4.5-point favorite at Carolina. At Carolina, he said. Cleveland's scheduling may be an indication as to what the plan is as far as Deshaun Watson. I mean, they're opening in Carolina, just down the road from Clemson, against the team that was the favorite to get Deshaun Watson. I got news for you. Knowing that Carolina game was on the schedule, I don't think they're suspending Deshaun Watson at all. I don't think they're suspending him at all. I think they're going to wait and see what happens in the civil cases, which won't be tried until 2023. I think now I'm starting to feel like Deshaun Watson's the opening day quarterback for Cleveland at Carolina, for God's sakes, where he started for Clemson. Think about it. Why is Denver at Seattle? What do you think? That's just they pulled a rabbit out of the hat with that? That's Russell Wilson going back to Seattle. Now, yes, Cleveland plays Houston, and they'll play them later on in Houston, later in the season. But they're opening at Carolina, the team that was supposed to get them. And the team, who knows? Carolina might have Baker Mayfield by then. You never know. I don't think so. Now that they went ahead and drafted a quarterback and Baker Mayfield. Can you imagine Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on the same team? The 2 guys that there was the big debate over. And then on week three, the Browns and the Steelers is on Sunday Night Football. Look, they didn't put that game on Sunday Night Football with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback for Cleveland. I'm telling you. 10 of the 16 opening weekend games, the road team is favored. The road team is favored in 10 of the 16 games. That, we'll see if that holds up. That is not typical. At the top of the 11, Tony Tsoukalis from BamaCentral.com will join us about the transfer portal brouhaha, especially after Scott Satterfield implied that Nick Saban tampered with Tyler Harrell. Well, I know this. A coach cannot directly contact a kid on another roster. That would be tampering. That's where tampering ends. The coach can't call the kid on the other roster and say, hey, do you want to come to our school? The players can. Bryce Young can call a kid and say, hey, you want to come and play wide receiver for me? Not tampering. The owner of the auto repair shop down the street apparently can. Although he cannot offer an NIL deal if he comes. They cannot as an enticement. Now, there is a rule. It is impossible to enforce, impossible to detect. But there is a rule. You can't say to the kid, look, if you go, I'm a booster. Well, first of all, I'm not a booster. I'm in a collective. Oh, that's Booster Club. I'm in a collective. They're going to call it a collective. Okay, I'm in a collective. And in the collective, if you come to Alabama, we're going to give you $300,000 to promote, our repair shop because we're going to get, $300,000 worth of business for you on that. So we're gonna get, you can't do that. Once the kid transfers in, you can do an NIL deal. But what the hell? What kid's transferring anywhere without money that he knows is on the line? The thing is a mess. The intersection of the transfer portal and NIL has gummed up all of this. We need clarity in rules. And look, I know that crap was going on in the past, but this is like legalized sports betting or even the lottery. Not that I know anything about this from back in the day, but let me just say this about that. When sports betting and the numbers racket, that's what they called it, the numbers racket. When that was run out of the back room at Louis Bar and Grill or Gala's Italian Eatery in upstate New York, I'm just saying it's just a place I heard of. I don't know. When that was run out of the back room, there were no rules. There was a little bit of honor, but there were no rules. You didn't know what you were getting into. Now that sports betting and the lottery, which is just nothing more than the numbers racket, are out in the open, there are set rules. If you lose a bet with DraftKings, they don't send a leg breaker to your house. Well, this whole NIL transfer thing was rolled out with no real well-defined rules or penalty structure. Just saying. Now, back in the day, it was different. They had joints, what they were generally called joints, Italian restaurants, bars, grills. They'd have joints, and they'd have like 12, 13, and 14-year-old kids that would run around the block and collect the betting sheets and the numbers from the old lady down at the corner at 3rd and Main and put $1 on, 682 to come. And they would bring the betting sheets into the joint, and then when they picked the winning number, then the kid would get like a little cut of the action. Like you pay the kid, the kid would get like 5%, and he would take the money to Mabel. And most of the sports betting, it was done on margin. That's why people got in trouble. They would bet, the bookie would give the bettor a margin. You can bet up to, you can have $1,000. We square up at $1,000. That was the term, square up. You square up at 1,000. I pay you at 1,000. You pay me at 1,000. And then what would happen is you would be down 1,000. You'd have to square up. And now you didn't send a 12 or a 13 or 14-year-old kid. You'd send, Steve down there to collect the money. Or there would be a very high interest rate paid. See, those things don't happen anymore. Now you have to deposit in these books, these legal sports book. You use the MGM app, you have to, you have to put a couple of $100 in, and then that's what you get to bet with. They don't send somebody to your house to collect. That's where we're at. That's where we're at with NIL right now. We did something that was done in the shadows in the past, has been brought out in the light. We've shined the light on the roaches, and the roaches have just flipped everybody off instead of scattering. Look, I got to be honest with you. I'm always honest with you. But let me be honest with you. I was not even supposed to be here today. I was not even supposed to be here today. Huh? Yes. It's a true story. I was supposed to be in Chicago this morning. I was supposed to be in Chicago for last night's Yankees-White Sox game. Lower level, right behind the Yankee dugout, in $185 seats. Thanks to my daughter, the artist, who bought them for us, me and my son-in-law, for Christmas. He is a White Sox fan. The four of us had plans and reservations at a suite downtown hotel. It's part of a vacation club thing that my wife and I own. And we were going to be in the suite down the Drake Hotel, or the Hotel Drake in downtown Chicago, right down the street from the stadium, from Protective Field or whatever they call that thing. Guaranteed Rate Stadium, I think is what it is. We were going to have 3 days in the Windy City. I was going to be off on Thursday and Friday. We're going to leave Wednesday after the show. And we were supposed to be there, and the plan got all blown to hell. Some things came up. The kids ended up having to go to Florida. And the whole plan got blown to hell. But it's not like I missed anything last night.
He signed, and I knew, that he was going to be a great fit for this team.
Fly ball, deep right, going back, Engel on the track. See ya! Another home run for Stanton. A 2-run shot, and the Yankees take a 5-3 lead.
Not like I missed anything.
And Burr deals. Drilled deep to left field. There it goes! See ya! A monster mash! Oh, what a shot by Judge.
No.
As the Yankees now lead 7-4.
No, I didn't miss anything. It was nothing.
High fly ball, deep left field. Pollock back, track, wall. See ya! The Yankees blow it open. A 3-run shot. They lead 14-7.
Nah. That was Josh Donaldson, by the way. Nah, no big. No big. Nah. I think a beer league softball game broke out. They had a kegger at second, I think. Over there in a little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the platters of batter and the stacks of wax and answering the phones. Little Large on a Friday.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of the show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put the thing together on a stick polish.
Brilliant! I've got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole. Right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's finally Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and they can time to roll.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
It's not St. Patty's Day, so that's a different day entirely.
Grizz, how you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. It's a wonderful, beautiful Friday
Can't
outside.
hear no Grizz.
You don't hear me? Oh, don't tell me this is happening again where you go out and then you claim that you can't hear me anymore.
This is like watching a. This is like, Grizz. This is like watching a.
And there it is. Did you just go out again? You know what's hilarious about this every single time? It's never our fault. It's always Thom Abraham's fault. Now we can't even hear him. He's talking to me right now, doing all these hand signals and everything like that, but nothing's really going on. So once again, we're probably going dead. We'll probably have to reset in just a second, but I mean, let us just kind of recap what happened last night. I enjoyed the NBA playoffs, and I hope you all did as well. I thought it was a great 2 games. I feel really bad for Joel Embiid and how hard he played last night. But I really think that, if Philadelphia gets rid of James Harden, they would be a much better team. They never should have traded Jimmy Butler away. The guy is playing amazing. Give Eric Spoelstra credit and the Miami Heat a lot of credit for just absolutely getting their team prepared. Doc Rivers is probably gone from Philly, I would think, eventually. And then when we kind of look at the other side of the coin and in the Western Conference Finals, I am so happy for the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic to literally keep talking trash and keep that momentum going, because I used to be a big fan of the Phoenix Suns, and I cannot stand this Phoenix Suns team. And they are really, outside of Devin Booker and really Chris Paul, who has not been very good these last few games, isn't really helping them at all in this game. So I don't think that they're going to be able to finish it out. The only thing that they rely on is being at home. But, man, I think Luka's going to continue to talk trash and continue to carry the Dallas Mavericks into Phoenix and hopefully take out and win Game 7 to move on. And that's really what I enjoyed last night. I absolutely enjoyed the NBA playoffs. I know we don't talk about it enough, but we're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back. We're going to have to reset some things, pay some bills, and we'll be right back on the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Game 6 tonight in Milwaukee between the Celtics and Bucks. Boston down 3-2 and a 1.5-point underdog, 2-11 the total. In the West semifinals, the Warriors up 3-2 over the Grizzlies. Golden State an 8.5-point favorite in Game 6, 217.5 the set total. Stanley Cup playoffs first round in the East, the Rangers down 3-2 to the Penguins. New York a -125 moneyline favorite in Game 6 in Pittsburgh. Penguins +105, 6.5 the total. Capitals a +160 home underdog in Game 6 against the Panthers at -185. Florida up 3 games to 2, 6.5 the total. And the Flames -160 at the Stars at +140 in Game 6 in the West, 5.5 the total. Flames lead the series 3-2.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The internet is everything. Actually, everything. And with WoW Internet, everything is good. Good streaming, good shopping, good gaming. And with an extra reliable connection, it's all good all the time. Get super fast gig speed internet from WoW for only $49.99 a month. Plus get $300 on us when you sign up at Wowway.com. Wow, that's good internet. Wow. Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Subject to change. Terms apply.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
Here goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Thom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
With a new face at first and some of the best arms in the National League, this 2022 Braves team is loaded up for another run at the crown.
Swung on, lifted high and deep to right field, headed for the chop house, heads up out there, gone, home run!
tonight. It's another huge National League matchup at Truist Park as the Braves take on Fernando Tatis Jr. and the San Diego Padres. Braves radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. A couple of isolated showers or thunderstorms can't be ruled out across the Tennessee Valley. Most of us probably going to end up staying dry. High temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s. Dropping into the lower 60s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky for your Saturday afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to remain possible across the Tennessee Valley. Still looks like temperatures climbing into the lower 80s, dropping into the lower 60s through the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
So who is Wes Neighbors?
He's going to put an ass whooping meter on next year.
Does Wes know?
1 or 2 or 3 cans of whoop ass.
We can all figure it out. Weekday afternoons, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Oh, there's nothing like that Football Friday music. Gotta love it, man. This segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. You can rent everything but the Football Friday music at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations now, North Parkway, up north of Winchester Road. You'll find the bigger items there, the excavators and the dozers. I may have to get one of the bigger excavators. I'm thinking about pulling out these big Rosa Sharon bushes that are in my yard that kind of block the parking area between my house and the guest house out back. And I don't know that I can get them out with the mini. I may need the bigger excavator. I'm not sure. But I know where to get it. I'd have to get it at Valley Equipment Rental. And, of course, the location at the South Parkway as well. And, yes, they got more excavators and skid steers and lifts than anybody else in the Tennessee Valley. But they also have everything else you need to get the job done like a pro, all the hand equipment and the specialty tools and the air compressors and all that kind of good stuff. They got everything there, and they'll teach you how to use something. Don't be bashful. Don't say, well, I don't know how to use a jackhammer. They will teach you. It's very, very simple. They'll teach you. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, Ellen Bell Jr. joins us from CBS Sportsline. AB, welcome back. How are you?
Big dog, doing fantastic, man. You doing all right?
I am fantastic as well. Look, I'm a huge Boston Bruins fan. I got the Bruins playing Carolina. I'm a huge Yankees fan. I got the Yankees playing the White Sox, and I had money on the NBA games. So what am I watching? The stupid schedule release show. I mean, I can't believe this. The NFL Network had it. Fox Sports 1 had it. ESPN had it. 3 different networks, 3 hours apiece for the schedule, which we could just simply look at when they just – I mean, it's amazing. And it's going to be very interesting to see what the ratings were for how many people watch a schedule release show versus how many people watch, like, I don't know, playoff games in the NBA and NHL.
Man, I'm telling you, they're going to be massive, right? Like, compared to everything else. I mean, the NFL literally could put a TV show on of people watching a wall, right? Yeah. And we would tune in, right? Like, I mean, it's just amazing the struggle.
The shield.
That
they just put the shield up. You know what I mean? They just put the shield on the screen, and people just sit there and look at the shield. Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm tuning in. And we already knew, you already knew the teams that you were going to play. You just don't know the schedule. But, yeah, just once again, man, the NFL's king.
I noticed that the Monday night schedule is a little better than it has been in years past. I wonder, that wouldn't have anything to do with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and the games going back on ABC now, would it?
Just a little bit. And especially with ABC getting in the mix here for Super Bowls. Yeah. They figured it out. You grease the palms of the NFL, they grease you right back.
Yeah. Some interesting things. First of all, 10, I don't know if you saw this or not, 10 of the 16 games, the road team is the favorite. You got home dogs in 10 of the 16 games because, the lines came out, 15 minutes after after the schedule came out. The lines came out. But, you've got the Ravens as a 4.5-point favorite at the Jets, the Saints at 3.5 at the Falcons, the Browns at 4.5 at the Panthers. It goes on and on. 49ers 6.5 at the Bears. I mean, the Colts are an 8-point road favorite at the Texans. I mean, there's some pretty big numbers here.
Yeah, there really are, right? And you've got some nice matchups, so it just goes to show. I think that when you have that for a week one, that's everything that the NFL can ask for. Because week one's going to crush regardless. But when you have, road teams that are favorites, right? Like it's going to mean that you've got some really good games and you've got some interesting matchups, like the Titans and the Giants, right? Like, you just got some different matchups there. And week one, the ratings are going to be through the absolute roof. That's a good thing for the NFL.
Yeah, a couple that surprised me. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a 2-point favorite at the Cowboys. That seems a little bit surprising for that Sunday night game, the first Sunday night game. I know it's Tom Brady and all of that, and if anything, they kind of get better as the season goes on. The last 2 years with Brady, they've been better at the back half of the season than early. But the Dallas Cowboys, who have the easiest schedule in the entire NFL, a 2-point dog at home to open against the Bucs. That one surprises me. What do you think?
Yeah, it is surprising. I also think, the sports books are doing a little enticement. Not that they need it on people betting on the Cowboys, but you're going to have a lot of people betting on the Cowboys, but then you'll have money coming right back on the Bucs and Brady. So, yeah, like I love that it's such an attractive number, especially under 3. Yeah, man, like this season's going to be fun. It could be crazy again like we saw last year, but this season's going to be fun for sure.
And they knew what they were doing when they sent the Bills to Los Angeles. Now, the Rams had the most difficult schedule. And look, and in the NFL, when you look at schedules, it's not like college football because you don't know who's going to be good. Last year, people who had Cincinnati Bengals on their schedule were thought to have an easy schedule, and then they turn out to be a Super Bowl team. So you just don't know in the NFL. But right now, the Rams look like they've got the most difficult schedule in the NFL. They open up with the Buffalo Bills at home, and that is a potential Super Bowl matchup, right? I mean, they could be the first and last game of the year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it is, right? And, for the standings and, both teams being AFC and NFC, the game at the end of the day really won't matter, so to say, as we get towards the end of the season. However, it absolutely matters right now. And if Josh Allen and the Bills can go out there, get a win, against the defending Super Bowl champions, like that's a big one, right? Like that gets you excited in regards to your season. So I can't wait to watch it. And I'm fascinated to see. I always love seeing how teams that win the Super Bowl, how they come out the next year. Now, historically, in that first game, they crush. I think the teams are like 70% against the spread. But Bills are good, man. Like, this ain't no slouch team, and they might be the most talented team in the NFL. So, yeah, that's going to be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. And then, I'm trying to read the tea leaves. And, of course, you got Russell Wilson, on the first Monday Night Football game going back to Denver. Obviously, that's going to be very emotional. Denver is one of those road favorites that we talked about, in week one. But Russell Wilson back in Seattle in what used to be a divisional matchup, back in the day when Seattle was in the AFC. Tons of intrigue around that one.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Let's be honest. That's kind of a gift, for Russell Wilson and the Broncos going to Seattle, in week one, because we don't even know who Seattle's starting quarterback is going to be. Drew Lock, right? Like, I mean, if I were Russell Wilson, I'd much rather play them in week one where they kind of don't really have a feel on what this team really is than, playing them in week 15, week 16 when they've got an idea and kind of got things calmed down. So, yeah, excuse me, the NFL was smart with that one because when you want to market a big move in the offseason as well as somebody who is as popular and as good as Russell Wilson, yeah, do it early. Give him the best shot to show off. Yeah, and he usually takes care of that.
And then I'm trying to read the tea leaves when looking at the Browns' schedule. You got to figure that, there's something there that will give us some indication of what might be the thinking behind the Deshaun Watson deal. Is there going to be a suspension or not? And I thought it was very fascinating to see that they are opening in Carolina. Now, Carolina was the favorite to get Deshaun Watson. In Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, is just down the road from Clemson, where Deshaun Watson played, and where he starred for the Clemson Tigers. I'm telling you, I look at that, and then I look at week 3, the Browns and the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. I mean, are they putting the Browns on Sunday Night Football in week 3 with Jacoby Brissett? You know what? I don't think they're suspending Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson's going to play the entirety of the 2022 season, and they'll hold the suspension to 2023 after the cases are settled. It feels like that, the way that their schedule sets up early on.
Yeah, it does. And I 100% agree with you because, if you kind of look at the timeline here, right, there's nothing that's going to come up, in terms of, scheduled court cases or anything like that before the season, right? So you don't have to, worry about that. Essentially, if nothing out of left field, comes at Deshaun Watson that's, super negative and gets a national attention, I don't think that they're going to suspend him either. I don't think they're going to put him on any kind of commissioner's list because if nobody's really talking about it, why bring it up, right? Like, the NFL loves their PR. They love their marketing. They're smart with it. So I'm with you, man. Like, I think Deshaun's going to be good to go as long as, nothing crazy happens. And let me say this. The Cleveland Browns, if Deshaun Watson is who we think that he is, buddy, look out. Like, this team is going to be phenomenal because the Browns are pretty good everywhere else. They just got to get the quarterback situation figured out. And Deshaun Watson can handle that. So I'm with you, man. Looking at the tea leaves, it certainly seems like he's going to play. And, what about – there's something with the AFC North, the geography in terms of who they play, where they travel. The Steelers don't leave the Eastern time zone all season, right? Like, I mean, that's a huge advantage, for them. But, yeah, long story short, I'm with you. I don't think that they're suspending Deshaun.
Yeah, based on the way it worked out with who's playing who in terms of the other divisions that they're playing in the other conference and so on. Yeah, it worked out that way for the AFC North for sure. But then that brings up what happens with Baker Mayfield. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. What if Deshaun Watson does get a suspension? There's no way that Mayfield is going to play for Cleveland if that were to happen. I mean, he could sit there. He didn't go to any of the offseason programming so far. And the question is being asked, could he actually lower his $18.8 million guarantee pay to get something done? Some people think they should just cut him. I don't think the Browns are going to just cut him. It's going to cost them the same amount of money anyway. And you wonder whether or not this goes into camp, or does this go all the way into the season when, you wait for the first guy to get hurt?
Yeah, so, first off, they're not going to cut him because, then you would just be paying the money and getting zero value.
And he might end up at the Steelers. Even though they drafted, the Kenny Pickett guy, he might end up at the Steelers.
100%, right? So they're not going to do that. Now, if he lowers his, salary, he's willing to, renegotiate, do a new deal, yeah, that's really going to be the only way. Other than that, look, here's what's tough for Baker is that everything that's come out has been negative about him being a bad teammate and et cetera, all that. So if Cleveland keeps him and say something does happen to Deshaun and he refuses to play, he's nuking any opportunity that he'll have to be traded because the rest of the league will say, nah, forget that. Like, he's not good enough. We don't want that at all. So Baker has no option here. If they need him to play, buddy, you got to go out there and play, man. Like, as much as you might hate it, if you don't play, it will kill any trade value that you have. So, yeah, Cleveland's in a good spot with this. Baker is in a no-win spot with this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Alan Bell Jr. with a CBS Sports Line. All right, let's just hit the NBA playoffs for a minute because there's some weird stuff going on. Absolutely odd stuff. This Memphis Grizzly team, 21-6 without Ja Morant. I love Ja Morant. Everybody loves Ja Morant. They're 778 in games they play without Ja Morant, and they're a 680 team, which is very good in games they play with him, but they're unbeatable without Ja Morant. I don't know how that is. What's going on there?
It's crazy. Like, okay, so look, let me throw it back to you. Okay, so I'm not smart enough in terms of NBA offenses and coaching and all that, but just in general of just coaching, there's something there when Ja Morant is not on the floor, right? So we're not saying that the Grizz trade Ja Morant, get rid of him. We're not saying that. However, there is something that needs to be adjusted with this team when he's on the court because when he's not on it, they can handle themselves very well. So is it something to where he's taking too many shots? The players are too dependent on him. They get nervous. They don't shoot. I don't know what it is, but what you just said is real, that these numbers are absolutely correct when he's not on. And it's not like it's like 3 games. Like we've got like 3/4 of a season.
Yeah.
Like this data is real. And what do you do with the spread in that game tonight? All right, so it's in Oakland. The Warriors are an 8-point favorite. The Grizzlies just won by 40, right? Like, what? I don't want anything to do with this spread. Like, it's just craziness. And then you look at, like, Game 5 and 6 between the Mavs and the Suns. Game 5 in Phoenix, the Suns win by 30. Game 6 last night in Dallas, the Mavs win by 27. That's a 57-point winning margin difference. Like, is it that much at home? Like, it's valued 57 points? Like, the NBA playoffs have been nuts, man, and in a great way. We don't know what we're going to get tonight, but we know we're going to get 2 wild games.
Well, we thought we were going to get Phoenix. They blew Dallas off the court, and we thought, well, this is it now. Now they go there, and you only had to give a couple of points. I was on them. You give a couple of points, you think you're all right there. They're going to finish it off, and Dallas blows Phoenix out. I mean, what the hell are we looking at? I don't know. By the way, on the Ja Morant thing, they allow 5 points per game less when Ja Morant is out. He does not play defense. He's not very good defensively. So there's that.
Yeah.
There's one number that is out there. And I do believe that the rest of the team is very dependent on him. So he needs to become a better defensive player. But the other thing about Ja Morant is he's so slight. You look at him, and that's the one thing that I think is going to hold him back from being a full-blown superstar is that because he's not afraid to take it to the rack on a regular basis. But the fact that he did miss 27 games now and the rest of the playoffs probably indicates that he may have to do something to preserve his body a little bit better.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, right? And you nailed it right there. Like, for anybody who hasn't seen NBA players or an NBA team walk by, these are athletic body freaks. Like, they don't make sense, right? Being that tall, that big, that athletic and fast. Like, it's completely different than any other sport. So when you got a guy, who is like Ja Morant, who is that slight, and trust me, we're all saying he's super athletic, but once you take it inside the three-point line, buddy, you got some big boys down there that aren't afraid to bang, right? So I'm with you, man. Like, it's going to be tough. And it's crazy, the numbers that you laid out, that Memphis is better offensively and better defensively without him on the court. It's nuts, man. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
8 points is too much, I think. I feel like the 8 points is too much.
Because Golden State hasn't played well. It's
no,
not like
even in the game that they won at home, they didn't play great. Yeah.
100%. Like, I have no idea what to do. I'm going to play the over of 217 because I think that, I'm just going to kind of go with the path of least resistance. I think both are going to, put up points in kind of a do or die, and Golden State certainly doesn't want to go to Game 7. But with the spread, I'm with you, man. Like, I want nothing to do with that whatsoever.
Look, tonight is Game 6 and Game 7. That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
Tonight's Game 6 and Game 7. Winner tonight wins the series. Period. End of story. Golden State does not go back to Memphis. People are confused a little bit. They don't realize Memphis is the 2 seed. Golden State's the 3 seed. Memphis has the home ice advantage here. They go back to Memphis, forget about it. They don't win there. They better win that game tonight. This is Game 6 and Game 7 is what they need to do. Now, who was unable to do that was the Philadelphia 76ers. And I ought to be honest with you now. One of the Doghouse disciples, a guy that I worked with that helped produce the show back in the day in Nashville, Eitan Shander. I called him Rocky because he's from Philadelphia. He's now in Philadelphia, broadcasting in Philadelphia, and does a tremendous job there. He was all excited about James Harden. He and I had a very spirited, Grizz remembers this. We had a very spirited conversation. Remember, Grizz? I told him, I said, you can't win with James Harden. I said, he was nuts. I said, I'm telling you, there's something not right about this dude. He is, Russell Westbrook with a beard. I don't know what the story is. You can't win with this dude. Last night, 11 points, 4 of 9 shooting, took 2 shots in the entire second half, missed them both. And goodbye, Philadelphia. I mean, that team just needs some kind of lobotomy or something.
Yeah, you're right. You can't win with him. And look, I love Eitan's fantastic. I've done his show once or twice up there. He's an awesome guy.
Oh, I didn't know you knew Rocky. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And you're right, man. Like, he was upset last night, and rightfully so. And the part that's so tough, say if you're a 76ers fan, is like you're watching this. Harden's falling into every kind of quote-unquote stereotype we put out there, even though it's real. And it's like you can look and see that he just doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care. He'll be out at a nightclub an hour after that game, not caring at all. Your season just ended. And, the question is this, has anyone ever been happy about signing James Harden in the end, right? Like, it sounds good at first, but it's never worked out. Like, every team that he's been on is like, let's get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
So it's crazy for, a player who is that talented that he could just stop at any moment, man. I'm with you.
Yeah, you get excited about it, and then you realize, what the hell am I doing with this guy? So
he's like a subprime mortgage, right? Like you're fired up at first, and then you're like, oh dear God, get me out of this.
Hey, I locked in at 3.1 a couple of months ago. Okay, thanks to North Alabama Mortgage with offices in Tennessee, Florida, and Alabama. I locked in at 3.1, and I'm happy as hell right now with the way the rates are going.
There we go. You're a smart man. You're much better than these teams that are signing Harden.
I don't know if I'm smart or I know smart people. You know what I mean? I know smart people like Brian Hammaker at North Alabama Mortgage. I know smart people. I think that's the big deal there. All right, man. Well, as always, I appreciate it. Great job by you, and we'll look forward to keeping the conversation going.
Can't wait, man. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, you too. I don't know. I can get 8 points tonight with the Grizz. I get 8 points. I could get 8 points tonight with the Grizz. I think.
Ooh.
8 points.
I like them. I really do. I really did not expect them to play as well as they did. I mean, nobody expected them to blow out Golden State.
They're up 55 points at one
and point. I guess a lot. I'm like one of the few that just like Draymond Green, but I love what he had to say after the game. He's like, you lose by 5, you lose by 50. You know, I feel like they just
didn't see him firing up the crowd.
Yeah. I think that at the end of the day, it's like those three right there. If they turn it on, if Clay, Steph, and Draymond turn it on tonight, then yeah, it's.
What was the score? Do you remember what the score was in the last game in San Francisco? Because I know they for most of that game,
yeah,
Memphis played pretty well, but I can't remember.
I know it was pretty. Hold on.
I can't remember what the final score was.
Let's see. No, hold on. Yeah, 101-98. So 3 points.
Yeah, see? 3 point game.
It was a close game, yeah.
3-point game. I think I'm taking the 8 tonight. I think I'm going to ride the 8 tonight with the Grizz. I think that's the way to go. All right, let's get a break in here. We shall come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1, set you up for hour number 2 next, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
There goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Tuesday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options, from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F-150. You'll get exactly the color and options you want, and Woody Anderson Ford will save you 5% off MSRP, plus you'll get any additional Ford factory rebates. Or if you need a new ride today, choose a Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicle. We have over 100 to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with our 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of George and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. A couple of isolated showers or thunderstorms can't be ruled out across the Tennessee Valley. Most of us probably going to end up staying dry. High temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s. Dropping into the lower 60s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky for your Saturday afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to remain possible across the Tennessee Valley. Still looks like temperatures climbing into the lower 80s, dropping into the lower 60s through the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Download our app today. Just search 97.7 ESPN.
It's water and dust resistant.
That's 977 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And that's it.
And welcome back. Thom Abraham Show. Football Friday meets football music. We're hearing them bands. Segment of the show is brought to you by TOC Sports. For all your injury needs, it's TOC Sports. No matter how you hurt yourself, could be work, could be sports, it's TOC Sports. When your doc says, I think you need to see a orthopedic, you need to see the folks at TOC Sports. Check them out all throughout the Valley. They got locations everywhere throughout the Valley. Really, they do a tremendous job. Been here for well over, 50, not 50 years, well over 20 years. Not 50 years, 20 years. That's how long they have been here. All right, phone lines are open if you want to jump in, 256-576-4977. We'll have more open line time in hour number 2 of the show. Tony Sukalis from BamaCentral.com is standing by. He will join us after the top of the hour break, and we'll get into this whole transfer portal brouhaha. Look, Scott Satterfield did not call out Nick Saban by name, but he did talk about tampering and how tampering he thought was involved in his player, Tyler Harrell, his wide receiver, that ended up at Alabama. Kid goes in the transfer portal, ends up at Alabama. And so, he kind of made these reference name, the wide receiver. I'm having a brain cramp.
For which team?
Brown, the goofball with the Stillers, and he was last with the guy who quit on.
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
gosh, couldn't remember.
It's okay. I thought you meant Juju.
No.
They're both goofballs.
No.
But
Not
Juju's a little bit better than Antonio Brown.
And not the Alabama wide receivers.
He's much
who keep
better.
Getting arrested. I mean, stop getting arrested, Alabama wide receivers.
Yeah.
Would you please stop that?
Starting to look bad.
They're really starting to look bad. Antonio Brown. Did you see what Antonio Brown had to say about Colin Kaepernick?
No, I did not.
Earlier in the week?
No, I did not.
He was talking about Kaepernick's Nike endorsement and his lawsuit with the NFL and his on-again, off-again activism and so on. And he said about Kaepernick, not that Antonio Brown is the voice of reason, right? I mean, I understand that. But what he said was, quote, he don't want to play, man. He was trash. He said, we don't feel sorry for you. You took the deal, Brown said, of Kaepernick's 2019 collusion lawsuit with the NFL. He said, get the F out of here. Oh, Kaepernick, mocking those who whine in defense of the ex-quarterback. Man, you on effing Nike, man. Effing out of here. He cites that the Kaepernick's career completion percentage was under 60%, and he was 3-16 in his last 19 NFL starts. I mean, 3-16. Antonio Brown said, we ain't respecting that, bro. You took the money. You took the commercials. We don't see you outside. We don't see him in the hood. He don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we cool, but nah, we ain't even standing for Kaepernick. He ain't even from the hood. He ain't even been in the trenches. We like Kaepernick and all, but we really ain't on that. As black people, we need to get that clear, close quote. Wow. Antonio, yeah, Colin Kaepernick was raised by a white family in Wisconsin in a middle-class family. Colin Kaepernick, I don't know that he really knows the struggle, if you know what I'm saying. Fine. Can I get rid of this now? Okay, thank you. Tony Sukalis is next. Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. WNBA star Brittany Griner's detention in Russia has been extended by 30 days. The 31-year-old was detained at the Moscow airport in February after vape cartridges containing oil derived from cannabis were allegedly found in her luggage. The Biden administration says that Griner is being wrongfully detained. The 76ers are facing one big question this NBA offseason, and it involves guard James Harden. He's got the choice to pick up his $47 million player option and lock in the money, pick it up and extend with Philly, or decline it and sign elsewhere or sign a new deal. Whatever Harden chooses to do, he says he is staying with the Sixers. Tonight, 2 Game 6s in the NBA. Bucks, Celtics, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio, 7:30 Eastern ESPN TV. Warriors, Grizzlies, 10 Eastern ESPN TV. Milwaukee and Golden State move on to the East and West Finals, respectively, with wins tonight.
Hey, North Alabama, this is Chuck Oliver. We've got college football all over the place, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Where would this college be without football?
Listen to me weekdays at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Stanley Cup playoffs first round in the East. The Rangers down 3-2 to the Penguins. New York a -125 money line favorite in Game 6 in Pittsburgh. Penguins +105, 6.5 the total. Capitals a +160 home underdog in Game 6 against the Panthers at -185. Florida up 3 games to 2, 6.5 the total. And the Flames -160 at the Stars at +140 in Game 6 in the West, 5.5 the total. Flames lead the series 3-2. Game 6 tonight in Milwaukee between the Celtics and Bucks. Boston down 3-2 and a 1.5 point underdog, 211 the total. In the West semifinals, the Warriors up 3-2 over the Grizzlies. Golden State an 8.5 point favorite in Game 6, 217.5 the set total.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
This is Mike Greenberg. Be sure and download the app today. Just search for 97.7 ESPN and listen to my show every weekday right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to move more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is.
How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know words very
Like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back, hour number 2 on a Football Friday in the Doghouse. Football Friday, football music all throughout the show, and we'll have that for you all throughout the show. This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. For all your service needs, it's Woody Anderson Ford, if it's a Ford or not. Have you seen the service department down there? Have you been to Woody Anderson Ford and gone through their service lanes and gone down there and talked to, Brianna or Lindsay Fuller or any of the folks that are working in the service lanes? They're so knowledgeable. It's amazing. It's amazing how knowledgeable they are when you go down there. Of course, we have all Woody Anderson Ford vehicles. I mean, when I look out there right now, if it's a family event going on out there, between my son's Mustang and my other son's Mustang and my wife's Mustang and my F-150 and my other son's Ford Expedition, all Woody Anderson Ford. All Woody Anderson Ford. We're a Woody Anderson Ford family. You should do the same. All right, joining us now, a guy who does a tremendous job for BamaCentral.com, Tony Tsoukalas. Tony, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well.
Tony, like all our guests, is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Tony, the cat's out of the bag now. We know now that Nick Saban's 7 national championships, he's just a cheater. He clearly poaching other teams, can't recruit a lick. And it's obvious now that it's come to light that Nick Saban just strictly is a cheater. Is that about right? Is that what we're hearing?
I guess so. Maybe not so much, but there has been some speculation that he tampered to get Tyler Harrell. To be fair, Louisville head coach Scott Satterfield didn't say Nick Saban by name, and if you read the article, he was kind of I don't want to say like led on, but like it was implied that they kind of asked him, and he so it might not sound as scandalous as or as juicy as you might like, but I think there was some implication that there was some dirty business that happened with Alabama and Tyler Hurt.
The whole business is dirty business now with this NIL transfer portal. He was asked by 24/7 Sports about it. He chuckled. He says he believed it did occur, but like so much of what happened behind the scenes in college football, there's little he can prove. He said, quote, I think it's not only him, it's happened here before. Last year we had a few guys that jumped into the portal, and the next day they're announcing where they're going. You can look at that and you know something went on before they were in the portal. Okay. On the flip side of that, didn't Alabama lose like 20 players this year? I mean, in the transfer portal?
Alabama lost a lot, and, I mean, to be fair, Jordan Addison not Jordan Addison, so I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, don't jump into him now. Oh, let's not go there. I mean,
Tyler Harrell actually, joined Alabama like a week after entering the portal. So it's not like one of these things where he just entered the portal and
10 days.
Yeah,
it 10 days.
To be fair to Satterfield, though, the second Tyler Harrell entered the portal, there was rumors that he was interested in Alabama. But I mean, that could just be the player being interested in Alabama, and that's the reason why he could have known that Alabama would have taken it. You know what I'm saying? The reason why this is so hard to catch, though, is there's a lot of ways you can do it without really tampering. I mean,
right.
Alabama could have someone talk to, Tyler Harrell's friend, this is not legal, but they could have someone talk to Tyler Harrell's trainer or high school head coach, and then he relays it to Tyler Harrell. There's no way to catch that, and I think a lot of schools might be doing something like that. There's just no way to really enforce that. It's hard to prove that's tampering. Right. And to be honest with you, I mean, it's not hard to let your intention be known if you're interested in someone. I think that's not something that is hard to get out there. If Alabama's interested in someone, there's going to be ways to relay that to the player that might entice them to transfer.
Well, and I think it's even simpler than that because, like you say, certain aspects of it would be illegal to do, or against the rules anyway, to do if you were doing it through a cooperative or a collective, if you will, or the guy that owns the auto repair shop down the street were to say to him, hey, if you come here, I got a $300,000 NIL. All of that is against the rules. But the tampering, the whole thing about the tampering, my understanding is that players can talk to players at other schools, and it's not tampering. I mean, Bryce Young calls up the kid and says, hey, you want to come and play wide receiver for us? I'll get you in the first round of the draft. That's not tampering, right? I mean, so it's like, who the hell knows who is talking? These players are also close. They all go to the same camps when they're 5-star kids and everything else. Who knows who's liable to reach out to a kid and say, hey, you want to come here?
I mean, Bryce Young was training with Jordan Addison, who is a transfer target for Alabama, who will visit Alabama, in the coming weeks and may decide to transfer to the Crimson Tide. I mean, that's the Heisman winner just having an innocent game of catch with the Biletnikoff winner, and who knows what's going to happen. I think that there's probably were some conversations that went on, but that's legal. It's not. So it's crazy. It really is kind of like free agency. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but that's the case. And everyone has. I'm sure that a big part of let's say Jordan Addison's transfer is how much money he can get on NIL too. So I mean,
right.
It's a different age in college football where it really is starting to mirror the NFL a little bit more and more.
Well, the NFL has many more rules. They have rules and how to do free agency and everything else. The problem with this, I made the analogy earlier. Before sports betting became legal, of course not in Alabama yet, but before sports betting became legal and the lotteries came, all of that stuff was run by the mob. I mean, there was sports betting, and there was no rules or regulations, and there was a numbers racket, and it was the Wild Wild West. If you got involved in that kind of stuff. Once it became legal, before it became legal, there was all these federal regulations that were put in place, and you got to make deposits and everything else. You lose a bet with DraftKings, they don't send a leg breaker to your house. Well, here with this deal, we know a lot of this stuff was going on in the past, but now that they make it legal and they put it out front, they did it with no real teeth to any rules and no regulation state to state. It's just like each state has its own rules. So That's what we've got here. We got something that's so crazy, it looks so ugly that they're going to have some sort of a way to organize it, I would think.
And they've been so, disorganized in how they've done it that I think that a lot of the toothpaste is out of the tube in some aspects, where if they would have came at it, with a more organized approach at first, I think you would have been able to regulate some of this stuff. Now it's going to be tough. It's kind of hard to go back on some of these things. And it really is kind of a messy situation and something that could really affect the game. There's two sides to it. I mean, you got to root for the players who are finally, getting their piece of the pie. But at the same time, at what cost is it going to be for the sport? Is it ultimately going to help the players now, but then hurt the sport and therefore hurt the players in the future? I don't know. There's probably a middle ground, and someone smarter than me is going to have an idea that's going to work. But right now, I wouldn't want to be that guy, right? I think there's a lot of, kind of red tape and kind of murky waters to kind of wade through in order to kind of, set this straight. And I think that it's going to be a difficult process. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. And, it's a shame it had to come to this and there wasn't more organization on the front end, because I think this could have been handled a lot better.
That's why I think that Jim Phillips, from the ACC commissioner, who was new last year, he might be onto something. I think the time is going to come, where maybe you have to come up with the structure first. You put together the committee, you come up with the structure and what the rules are, and then you invite the top 65 or 70 schools in Power 5 to a breakaway organization. That there's really no reason for Division I college football to be connected to the NCAA. The NCAA runs championships. They're going to run the softball championship and the baseball, and they run the FCS championship, the Division I AA championship. The college football playoff is a separate entity altogether, and you wonder at what point in time would they get their heads together and say, okay, we'll come up with the structure first. This is what the rules are going to be. Everybody's going to play. We're all going to be in the same club. This is how we're going to cut the kids in on the money for the video games and jersey sales and so on, and they can do deals once they're with the team, and they'll come up with all the rules, and then they'll go ahead and invite the 65 Power 5 teams, and there'll be a breakaway. I think that happens, and it happens sooner than we think.
That gets more complicated than it seems, though, because, I mean, the NCAA, there's Title IX involved, so you can't just make it a football thing. And I think that, so when you start getting into, like you said, the video game money, the NIL deal, if you start making, like, organized deals like that, where everybody gets a certain amount of money, I think that will cause a little bit of complication, because it's not like you can just say, like, oh, well, the football team can make all this money, and then the softball team, well, good luck. Yeah, I think that it's tough. Whether or not, like, right now you can say, well, they're making the money that they're getting for themselves. But once you start giving them a set amount of money from the university or, from like a collective NIL, then I think it becomes, then you've got to make it fair across the board. You can't then go, oh, well, the softball team has to earn it themselves, but the football team, if you play on the football team, you're automatically guaranteed this little piece of the pie. Like, that's just not going to work. I do think that, I get your point where, that the committee and there needs to be some kind of like more organized kind of rules just for football, maybe, because it's so different than some of the other sports.
Because you'd still be part of the university. Yeah, you're still part of the university, and you'd still be part of the university's athletic department, so you'd still, support the other non-revenue sports and things like that. I think they could still do that. I just don't know that they need to be under the guise of the NCAA. I think that there would be some other organization that they could create, or some other way that they could create some sort of an alliance, because what's going on at the big schools is totally different than what the smaller schools deal with. And or there has to be some sort of teeth with the NCAA and some sort of federal guideline so that it is, so these deals are somehow regulated. It's too out of control, I think, right now. It just feels that way.
I think so too. We talked about it being a lot like the NFL. I mean, having some kind of a commissioner, and like you said, just making it more kind of more like a league wouldn't be the worst idea, just with the way the game's going. It's so complicated too. And if you take away just the big teams, like you were saying too, I mean, what's that going to do to the New Mexico States? And that's a whole other issue for college football. I mean, those schools are eventually going to just die out if stuff like this happens. And NIL deals are kind of pushing it, like you said, towards that route. Good luck being like a New Mexico State or even
any group of 5
with South Alabama. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be tough. I mean, how are you going to make your money? I mean, you're already starting to see Alabama schedule more than one Power 5 opponent in the future. If we start getting to the point where they just stop scheduling these teams, I don't know how they're going to make their money. Because they're already struggling with today's climate, and it's just going to get worse and worse for them.
Yeah.
And then what happens to college football when that happens? I mean, like, do those teams just stop having football teams, and does that cut down, the ability for teams to, for players? Is that just going to like hurt the sport even more per se? And here's another thing too. When you talk about even Power 5 schools, what about schools like Georgia Tech who are busting their butts to try to keep up with Alabama's and Clemson, and then all of a sudden, they finally get a top 100 running back. He does really well for 2 years, and then he transfers to Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, that's happening too. And so those schools, even the Power 5 schools, they're getting hurt because they're really just developing. Pittsburgh, it's crazy. Pittsburgh won the ACC, and now will give up their Biletnikoff, award winner to another team. They won the ACC, and Jordan Addison's going to be a first-round pick whether he stays at Pittsburgh or whether he leaves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, they just basically – schools like that are developing players for free. You're going to have even Power 5 teams almost turn into minor league teams for Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and those power teams.
Well, that's why Dabo Sweeney said maybe it's only 40 or 50 teams, that even have the same agenda. To be honest with you, I mean, Vanderbilt's playing by a different rule than the rest of the SEC, and maybe is some of these other schools even within the SEC or within the ACC. I mean, there's no doubt it may be that way. And I think though that those other Middle Tennessee's been playing football for 100 years. They're going to keep playing football. These other places can keep playing. I would, if it were to end up being a split from the Power 5 and the Group of 5, if I were the NCAA, I would then absorb the Group of 5 into FCS and include that in their tournament, in their playoffs and everything else, and that's where those schools would end up. And look, those kids still have opportunities to get drafted into the NFL. 20% of the players that were drafted came from Group of 5 or smaller schools. So they get noticed and they're able to play football. It's just you know how it is. It's just so different. And you're right. I mean, even Pittsburgh. I mean, hell, if a kid can go be in LA, why would he want to stay at Pitt once he makes a name for himself? Why would he want to stay at Indiana when he can go be at Michigan or Ohio State or someplace like that, even within the same conference? It's going to be very difficult.
But that's the thing, Tom. If you move all these teams into the FCS, and you talk about the talent that gets drafted from some of these smaller teams, move these teams. You stop funding these teams. They're not going to. The money has to come from somewhere.
Right.
So when we talked about the Eastern Michigan, New Mexico State, these teams, if you move them, just throw them into the FCS, they're not going to have the money to fund their programs. They will shut down football. I mean, that's drastic, but that's going to happen. And then once they shut down football, are they going to make money on the other sports? Is that going to take away? Are you going to have? Can these athletic departments survive without, the help of the big Power 5? Those buyouts for those games fund so much of a lot of these smaller schools' budget.
Right.
So if you're going to do that, then the NCAA needs to do something to take care of those teams, or maybe it's funneling some of that money their way. Because if you build this super conference, right, there's this super elite, in the football division, it's going to make a lot of money. Maybe that money needs to be then funneled to the,
Right.
in some way to the smaller schools. Otherwise, we're just not going to have those schools.
Well, isn't that what Nick Saban said about playing the cupcake games? He said, "Look, we can pay them anyway. You know, somehow they maybe they should be funding them. You know, somehow." He said that, we can pay them anyway, but not play that game. Play a game. Play games against other Power 5 teams, or just maybe play one of those types of games, because 3 is too many. You know that. I mean, when you look at it, 3 is too many. Yeah.
That might be the route. I mean, that makes sense, because I think then everyone's happy. Nobody wants these games. I don't even think that, outside of the money, I don't think these smaller schools want to have those brains. Yeah. And I mean, there's a little bit that they gain. I mean, they get the national attention. If one of their players, does well against Alabama, that's going to help him on his draft tape. But other than that, I think. Other than that, they don't really gain much out of these games other than the paycheck. So that might be the answer, is finding a way to pay them. But you just can't cheat out. You just can't throw away the unattractive part of college football, because that is part of not only college football but college athletics. I mean, right. As much as these football programs are struggling, they're still funding the rest of the programs at their respective schools. And so, I don't know. If Eastern Michigan has a really good baseball team, well, I don't know if that's true, but what's he going to do when you take away his football team? And then is that going to, end that opportunity for those kids that are just indirectly affected by everything? So it's crazy. I wrote a story I talked with the people at New Mexico State last time Alabama played them, or I guess 2 times ago when Alabama played them. And, I have a little bit of sympathy for those small schools after talking to them, because it is tough. I mean, it is really hard. They're in a hard position right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Tony Sakalis with us from BamaCentral.com. All right, before I let you go, speaking of softball, they were the number 2 seed in the SEC tournament, 40-something, 41-11, I think, on the regular season, and they get bounced out of the tournament in the first round by Missouri. Montana Fouts giving up 5 hits and 3 runs, something like that. What does this mean for Alabama regarding the big tournament, the NCAA tournament? What impact do you think it could have on their seeding and where they stand in the big tournament, losing this game and getting bounced out of their own tournament?
Well, you look at it; their RPI is still at 4. The big thing for Alabama is they want to be a top 8 seed, so that if they get to the super regional, they would host the super regional, or they'd have the best opportunity. They'd have a guaranteed opportunity to host the super regional. I think that they'll probably still stay in those 8 seeds. You look at some of the other rankings; they were hovering at 7 or 8, so maybe that would hurt them. But the RPI, they're at 4. They played a really good schedule, and they were second in the SEC in the regular season. So I think I'm pretty confident that they'll host the regional, and then I know they'll host the regional, and then they'll probably be in a situation to host the super regional. But none of it's going to matter if they can't hit. This team, I think it's been 9 games. They've scored 4 or fewer runs. You can't just rely on Montana Fouts to pitch a shutout. She's a great pitcher, but you got to give her some support. Lexi Kilfoyle's coming back from a hip and foot injury. If she's not ready, it's just going to put more tax on Montana Fouts. If Alabama doesn't wake up at the plate, they won't get to a super regional. That's kind of drastic, but there are teams that can beat Alabama. Like Missouri's a good team, but there's going to be number 2 seeds out there that can do that to Alabama, and maybe if Alabama's bats just don't wake up, there might be a number 2 seed in the regional that can really push Alabama. I don't think that will be the case, but I didn't think that Alabama was going to look so anemic in the SEC tournament. So it's interesting. I think Alabama's got the talent. I don't know if they have the lineup of a Women's College World Series lineup. They definitely have a pitching staff to do it, but we'll just have to see. Yeah.
And, baseball for a minute there, man, for 3 weeks, they were looking really good. They beat up on Ole Miss, and they go and they get a win on Friday night against Tennessee. And it's like, wow, look at this team. They're on the move. And then kind of went south again here. And now they got this huge series at Auburn. Folks will hear it here on our air throughout the weekend, beginning tonight. Auburn 13-11 in the league. Alabama 10-14 in the league. And, I don't think the SEC. So is Kentucky. 12 of the 14 teams make it. Who's State playing in this final weekend?
Oh, I have to double check that because I don't know.
I don't know.
But this is a tough series for Alabama. They could easily lose 2 out of 3 or get swept. I mean, it's Auburn on the road. It's tough. And look, this Alabama team just hasn't. I think it's done better. It's worse than what its record shows. I mean, like they've ground a few. I know that they've had some good things, and they've lost a lot of one-run games. But at the same time, they're only really ever winning Sunday games. I know they had a sweep, but like a lot of their wins come on Sunday. It's just hard to sweep an SEC team.
Right.
I think that's I worry about this Alabama team. It seems to be trending in the wrong direction. Auburn's a tough place to play. That being said, it is a rivalry game, and baseball's a funny sport. You get some momentum, but it'd be nice to see this team win on a Friday. I think to have them win that game, build some momentum, maybe take a series in Auburn. I don't think that's going to happen, but they're going to need some help, and if they miss out on the SEC tournament, that's going to be
that'd be brutal.
That'd be really brutal because I think you look at this season and you wanted to see some progress, and if you don't get it, it's going to just be such a punch in the guts for that program.
It looked like there was progress at one point. That's what I'm saying. When they had gotten into the top 25 and they were looking good and they were winning some Friday nights, and you win on Friday against Ole Miss and sweep them, and you win on a Friday against Tennessee, and they were only the second team to beat Tennessee in the league, and or no, maybe the first. Maybe they were the first ones. I think Tennessee
they were the
first ones to beat Tennessee. So Mississippi State has Texas A&M. A&M's a pretty good team. Mississippi State's one game behind Alabama. So is Kentucky, one game behind. Kentucky is South Carolina. South Carolina has got to be a little bit careful. They're also 10-14 like Alabama and Ole Miss are. They should be okay winning one game. I mean, win one game at Auburn, and they're in the SEC tournament. But it's a rotten shame that we're sitting here even talking about that going into the final series. You got to win a game at Auburn to make it into a SEC tournament that only eliminates 2 teams. It's pretty brutal.
It really is. I mean, and I just don't know. Like, Alabama's a tough place to build an SEC program, but it's going to be tough on Brad Bohannon. I love Brad Bohannon, but and I like him. I want him to do well. He's a great guy. But he needs this, I think. I think he needs this to show, hey, this is going in the right direction. It's a tough situation he stepped into, so you can't be too critical. But at a certain point, you need to kind of start seeing results. You can say it's a hard job, but he knew it was a hard job when he took it. So at a certain point, you got to say, like, okay, well, we need to see that this program is advancing. We put some money into it. We built a new stadium. You need to return on some of the investment, and we'll see. Who knows? I mean, things can switch around. I mean, Alabama could win. They could have a surprising showing in the SEC tournament, and all of a sudden we're talking about, hey, look at how they turn things around, and we have some momentum heading into next season to talk about. But if you look at this Alabama baseball team, that just doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, they did it at Tennessee, when they got the right guy in there. And I hope Brad would be the right guy because I like him too, and he comes on the show, and he's a good guy. But, I never thought that I would see what I'm seeing at Tennessee, and there's really no reason for it not to happen at Alabama. There is a lot of talent in the state, and there's no reason why they can't. They got a beautiful facility. They should be better than this and than trying to hang on for the last one. But, we'll see how that all works out. All right, man. I appreciate you as always. Good long interview there with Tony Sukalis, BamaCentral.com. Read him there. He's covering everything. He's the expert on the softball team as well. So check him out there. Thanks, Tony.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on.
By the way, next week we will have SEC baseball tournament in its entirety. So I believe, Grizz, if I'm reading this right, we'll be out of the box Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Probably, more than likely, yeah. No, we'll be here running it and getting it all going for you, but
in terms of the show, I mean, there's games. There's games starting at 9:30 in the morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm out on Friday for a charity event that I got to do up in Nashville. So yeah, next week is might be a Monday one and done. All right, we'll be one and done. The big dog, one and done. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll go open lines the rest of the way if you want to jump in. I don't know, we put a lot of meat on the bone there. You want to react to any of that, you can do it at 256-5764, 97.7 on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Game 6 tonight in Milwaukee between the Celtics and Bucks. Boston down 3-2 and a 1.5-point underdog, 2-11 the total. In the West semifinals, the Warriors up 3-2 over the Grizzlies. Golden State an 8.5-point favorite in Game 6, 217.5 the set total. Stanley Cup playoffs first round in the East. The Rangers down 3-2 to the Penguins. New York a -125 moneyline favorite in Game 6 in Pittsburgh. Penguins +105, 6.5 the total. Capitals a +160 home underdog in Game 6 against the Panthers at -185. Florida up 3 games to 2, 6.5 the total. And the Flames -160 at the Stars at +140 in Game 6 in the West, 5.5 the total. Flames lead the series 3-2.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
With a new face at first and some of the best arms in the National League, this 2022 Braves team is loaded up for another run at the crown.
Swung on, lifted high and deep to right field, headed for the chop house, heads up out there, gone, home run!
Tonight, it's another huge National League matchup at Truist Park on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. A couple of isolated showers or thunderstorms can't be ruled out across the Tennessee Valley. Most of us probably going to end up staying dry. High temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s. Dropping into the lower 60s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky for your Saturday afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to remain possible across the Tennessee Valley. Still looks like temperatures climbing into the lower 80s, dropping into the lower 60s through the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham Show on a Football Friday in the Doghouse. This segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. I talked about them earlier. But I will tell you that Brian Hammaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage, servicing all of Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee, they're going to help you get your offer accepted. Getting an offer accepted these days can be difficult. They're going to help you get your offer accepted by teaming with North Alabama Mortgage. So you're going to want to go check that out. You need to check it out. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. All right, phone lines are open if you want to get in. 256-576-4977 to put you on the Sports Talk radio show. Grizz, I keep having a brain cramp. I live in a world that is kind of a week ahead all the time.
Yes.
You know what I mean already?
Right.
I mean, so I'm already living in this week ahead world.
We all forget our days.
Yes. Well, me more so, I think, than others who are more organized. But I am living in next week's world, and so I keep thinking that then the next week is the SEC tournament. And I'm wrong again. So this isn't the final weekend of SEC baseball. Obviously, there's another weekend of SEC baseball where Alabama will host Arkansas, which is a very good team, and so that's going to be problematic as well for them. So they got to do more than just win one at Auburn. It'd be nice if they win one at Auburn. They are battling with right now the battle to make the tournament. The SEC tournament only takes 12 of the 14 teams. It's pretty bad when you miss the SEC tournament. That means you were, you know what I mean, you were 13th or 14th. I mean, you don't even get in the SEC tournament. Let the two teams that miss the SEC tournament play a weekend series or something. You don't even make the tournament. Missouri is not making the tournament. They're 7-19. But then you have South Carolina at 10-14, Kentucky at 9-15, Alabama at 10-14, Ole Miss at 10-14, and Mississippi State at 9-15. So you can legitimately say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. There's really, in Florida is 11-13, but they should be okay. There are 5 teams that are battling for 4 spots. You know, that's kind of the way it's going to work out. And Alabama would have the tiebreaker against Ole Miss because of the sweepage there. They got to have a couple of good weekends. And I like Brad Bohannon too, but this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. If they stumble their way to the finish line and don't even get in the tournament. And if they get in the tournament, they better do something. So I was thinking that next week was the SEC tournament. So what did I say? I said next week we might be one and done. No, that's not true either. I'm so messed up.
It happens.
Yeah, but it shouldn't happen like that. I mean, I am messed up. It's the following week, the SEC tournament, which makes sense because the following week ends with Memorial Day weekend, and I have a charity event that I'm involved in every year, Memorial Day weekend, which starts on Friday. So I'm out of the box on Friday the 27th. But the SEC tournament begins on May 24th, Tuesday, May 24th. Now, that week is going to be a lot of SEC baseball on our air. because not only the Alabama game, but we carry all the games. I say the Alabama game like it's one game. I mean, the hope is that it won't be just.
Well, they did make a little bit of a run last year.
They did.
Be able to beat South Carolina and then Tennessee and.
You remember that? Or are you looking at it?
No. I remember it.
Wow.
Yeah, they were number 10.
Yeah. Your beloved Atlanta Falcons do not get a Monday night game or a Sunday night game.
Well, I would think I saw the Baltimore Saints game, and I was like, you're going to put that on TV, but you wouldn't put the Falcons in at least a rivalry game or something on that night.
Yeah, the Ravens and the Saints will be on Sunday night too. Now, you did get a primetime game on Prime Video. Does everybody get Prime Video? Is that one of those things like if you have Amazon Prime, you get Prime Video with it, right? We're not going to have to pay for these games.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to have to pay for those.
I have Amazon Prime, so I guess that game will be on Prime Video. They're not going to do it like Apple TV is doing Sunday Night Baseball, I hope. It's going to be like a real broadcast. That's where Kirk Herbstreit is going to be doing the color. And Al Michaels is, I think, on the play-by-play for those games. So I mean, that's Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. That's some pretty good stuff there. The Falcons host the beloved Cleveland Browns on October 2nd at 1:00. Browns will be favored in that game, but they host the Browns on October 2nd at 1:00. So I immediately went to the website to buy tickets for that game.
Yeah.
I don't buy tickets for games. I haven't bought tickets in a long time.
I mean, we should be able to reach out to somebody to be able to get you out there, I would think. You know what I mean?
That's
I've
usually
been here for a few years. I don't know if we could do that or not.
Well, that's usually the hookup. But I need tickets because I want to take my sons.
You want to take
I want to go with my boys. I want to go like a fan and go with my boys. So I may have hookup there too. But right now, the first thing I thought was, why don't I be just Joe Fan, and I'll buy a ticket to the game, right? I'll buy tickets for my sons, and the five of us, me and the boys, will go to the game. Do you know that the nosebleed tickets are $55 at the site? The nosebleeds.
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to be anywhere in the lower bowl, they're a couple of $100.
And they came out saying that they were going to start like making seats easier and cheaper for fans to buy. It was not the case at all. And to be honest with you, sitting in the nosebleed section isn't that bad. I would probably pick one of those if I was like going by myself or whatever, or going with a friend or something. But
I don't mind the end zone.
Yeah,
I could do end zone. End zones are 65, something like that. But even that was a lot higher. I mean, I guess I'm naive.
It's just so weird that some of these games, like I would understand maybe the rivalry games or the conference games, or like, or the division games, or maybe, like a big matchup or something, or like one,
But they don't do that in the NFL.
But
every game is the same. This is not like college football where you got to.
There's sometimes where it's
I think they do some where you might have to buy like 3 games.
That NFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, I looked at the same seat. It went up from like $200 to like $270, and I wish I had bought the $200 one before I had gone.
We're talking about regular season.
Ticketmaster or
StubHub. Resellers would.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the official.
On their site? Oh, on their site. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about the official tickets.
I'm going to always go to the. I'm always going to go to the.
Yeah, but then you're paying a markup. I want to buy them from the Falcons. They're not. If you go get them at Vivid Seats, which sounds like a porn site or something, but if you go buy them at Vivid Seats, you're paying their markup. I want to buy them from the team. From the thing. Now I can get 101. For $115 a piece. That's the end zone. God, this is ridiculous.
I don't know if I want to spend any money on the Falcons this year. I think I'm going to spend a good bit of money on the Braves this year.
No, I'm not going to the Falcons game. I'm going to the Browns game.
Well, but you're spending money for the Falcons. You're going home. You're going to go buy their concessions, and
I know. But
you're going to take a souvenir cup home.
I saw somebody else on the thing. Hey, let's go. The 49ers are going to Atlanta. Let's get tickets for the 49ers game. Hey, the Browns are going to Atlanta. I'm like, does anybody go to the Falcons game for the Falcons? Let's go to the Falcons game.
Man, I went to that. I went to the Jets, the Colts, the Packers, and I'm telling you, man. Of course, the Packers out-fanned everybody, but Jets and Colts, man.
Were you up in the upper tank?
No, actually, middle. This was a Georgia Dome. I haven't been to the new one yet.
So corner end zone, lower corner end zone. Lower corner end zone.
Yeah.
$164 for a ticket. Lower corner end zone. Lower.
Not bad for just me.
No, that's still bad.
It's still bad. It's still pretty bad.
Upper tank in the end zone.
Yeah.
Upper tank in the end zone, $60. I mean, it would cost us. If I wanted to take my sons, that's $300.
Yeah, me and my little brother, we went to the Hawks game, and I mean, we were pretty high up, and that was like $80. And I'm like, well, it's a smaller arena, but still, it was like $80 just seemed like even that was really high for where we were going.
Cheapest
Seats
ticket
are
in the
not
building
nicer.
is $55, and that's upper. That's nosebleed in $315. I mean, it's way up there.
I mean, I remember when I went to the division game against the Seahawks, I got 18 rows corner of the end zone, away end zone, for like $80. And that was on the resale thing, but that was $80 in the corner of the end zone.
Now 107 is $215. Why is that? There's 66 tickets in 107, and that's 20-yard line lower bowl, and they're $215. But in 108, in the club at 108, it's $625. Row 1 here, and here's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Section 110C is okay. That's the lower level. Row 1 behind the Falcons bench. Okay.
Yeah.
110. Row 1 behind the Falcons bench. So low you can't see anything.
Right.
People don't understand it. You want row 1. Row 1, you $1,100 a ticket.
Yeah, the only thing good about that is like a player might walk by.
Oh wow! I want to see the game.
Yeah. You might actually get to see a player walk by and say hi to you, or maybe actually sign something. But that's about it. You won't even get to see the game. Like, I don't understand that.
I think the 200 level is the best spot to be.
I'll just enjoy a couple of tasty beverages and the cheap seats.
Maybe Brandon knows somebody. He might have a hookup. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, my brother. How many you need for that Falcons versus Browns game?
I would need 5.
You would need 5?
5 together.
I know a man for sure that's got 4. They're in the lower end zone, Falcons end zone. Used to be the tickets I had. He took mine and did the PSL when you had to buy the PSL seats there. So I can find out about that for you.
See what he'd be willing to do for the 4. Because I could get a media pass then, and then before I give the 4 tickets to the boys. It is. I mean, I assume that these prices are. It says you have to. What's it say? It says offer passcode required. I don't even know what that means. I'm at the Falcons site, I believe, and these are all locked PSL. You got to unlock it. I don't know. I don't understand it. I thought there was. What happened to the days where you just go and. You buy a ticket for $40, $30, and you get in the stadium.
No, you don't do that anymore. When they built the new one, Arthur Blank did the PSL, and I know people that paid $10,000 a piece for their PSLs, and they financed them.
And then only gives you the right to, and then you got to pay for the tickets on top of that.
Yes. Now it's good for concerts if you're in the right places, because some of them you get first dibs on all that kind of stuff, but. Some places it's good, some places it's not, especially when your end zone is the back of where Kenny Chesney puts the back of the stage at, so it doesn't really do you any good. I sent you a video, and I thought I'd sent it last night, but I had to resend it a minute ago, of a guy in Sugarland, Texas, that catches a 8-foot, 300-pound alligator gar.
Yeah.
And those things are dinosaurs.
I saw that. He cut it free. He cut it loose. Was it a gar or was it a? I thought it was a sturgeon.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know well enough to know.
Yeah, alligator
one
gar
from the other. Yeah. It's large and ugly. If you fast forward in the video about 10 minutes, and I'm just thinking, you caught a fish that big. Granted, you've got a video of it, but you let it go. There is no way.
Yeah,
that thing is going to
gar.
be in a room. That way, when I tell people I caught a fish this big, I can go stand next to it for them.
It actually looks like a gator, really. It really looks – I mean, it has a mouth and everything just like a gator. But Yeah, I don't know what you would do with it. That thing would cost you $3,000 to mount. But that is one ugly fish.
Ugly. I mean, if I'd have pulled that out, I probably wouldn't even have known what it was.
I wonder how many views this thing has on the YouTube.
Let's see. I had it pulled up on there.
I got it pulled up here. He's got 214,000 views on it, but he's got 83,000 subscribers. So, all right, I got to get out of here. Wrap it up.
Well, I will take care of it on the Falcons tickets and see what we can do. And you were talking about you're going to be out of the box on the 27th.
27th, yeah.
Me and Wolverine Dan can come pull a Ed McMahon and just sit in the back of the studio and yell stupid comments while Grizz is trying to keep it on the rails.
Which is basically the show. I mean, that's pretty much how the show goes anyway.
Pretty much.
It's a good job by him. All right, let's get a break and wrap it up. It's Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F-150. You'll get exactly the color and options you want, and Woody Anderson Ford will save you 5% off MSRP, plus you'll get any additional Ford factory rebates. Or if you need a new ride today, choose a Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicle. We have over 100 to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with our 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of George and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
All right, this one is in the hopper. Sweet Home on a Friday just before lunch is brought to you by me. We have 5 shows next week.
I was like, all right, 2 weeks. Let's go.
All right.
2 weeks off.
No, we're not taking 2 weeks off. But we do have, we will be in every week next week, so that'll be good. And what we'll be talking about, who knows? We'll see. I'll tell you what, though, I am excited about. Look, in the NHL playoffs, Grizz, on Saturday, 3 Game 7s on Saturday.
Woo, that's going to be fun.
3 Game 7s in Carolina, where the Boston Bruins and the Carolina Hurricanes have won. The home team has won all 6 games so far. In Toronto, where Toronto tries to eliminate the defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning. And in Edmonton and the Kings, after Edmonton won last night in L.A., to get back home with a chance. The first round of the NHL players has been absolutely bonkers. So we'll be watching that. NBA playoffs, USFL. Got a lot of work to get done around the property. But that DVR will be humming. Remember, coming up later on, it is the Tide at Auburn. The beginning of a key 3-game set. All those games will be on our air. Braves and Padres over on Zone 2. Chuck Oliver is next, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.